The Freebird line of keyboards aim to provide a high-quality, no-nonsense typing experience for an attainable price. The Freebird TKL was a testament to an entry-level keyboard punching way above its weight class with great feel and also amazing sound, so check this out. Now, KFA is expanding the Freebird family with the introduction of the 75% Freebird 75, but this time with more improvements, and this time just starting at $169, and with a sound like this without any type of foam or filler at all. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Scott K. Today we're going to be taking an exclusive first look at the Freebird 75 prototype. Mind you, this is a very early, actually I think this is the first prototype that was actually created of the Freebird 75. So it's missing a few features like the updated PCB for the Gummy O-ring mounting and the actual Gummy O-ring itself. In case you're not familiar, the Gummy O-ring mount is a unique mounting system that uses an oversized, soft O-ring to kind of fit between the PCB and the plate, and it suspends the plate inside the case. This is a great mounting style with a good feel and also very good sound. But for this review, this portion of the Freebird 75 was not yet ready. However, the Freebird 75 can also be mounted in top burger mount configuration as well, so we can still get a good feel for the characteristics of the board this way. Plus, we can also cover the aesthetics and the usability, right? We all know that the Freebird TKL was a banger entry into the upper entry-level playing field. Now, for $50 less, can the Freebird 75 bring it in a smaller package? Let's find out. Since the Freebird 75 is a prototype we're looking at, no real impression of packaging here. So let's jump straight into the components. The case I have is an E-White version, so if you opt for the E-White, it makes the keyboard $10 more expensive and brings the overall price up to $179, but $10 for E-White upgrade seems very reasonable after what Drop did with its Sense 75. The case is a simple and minimal design with some nice soft corners and a swooping side profile, kinda does look like a bird. Overall, not much embellishments on the outside with the exception of the small Freebird marking on the upper right hand corner. The layout is an exploded 75% design, so it actually separates out the arrow and the navigation cluster from the rest of the keys. On the inside, you also got the signature bird logo from all the other Freebird line. So one major improvement the Freebird 75 received since the Freebird TKL is the usage of an actual daughter board. The TKL had the USB port built into the main PCB, but with a larger cutout on the case itself for movement. The Freebird 75 actually completely separates this altogether. Speaking of PCBs, the Freebird 75's PCB is a very simple 1.6mm matte black design. It features south-facing KL hot swap sockets with no RGB or any lighting of any kind actually. Although there are some slots built into it to kind of separate out the F-row, overall the PCB has no real flex cuts or anything like that. Flex cuts are not as necessary if you do the Gummy O-ring mounting, since the entire plate and PCB will bounce. However, the flex cuts would have been pretty nice for the top mounting, so as expected, the FB 75 will be compatible with VIA and QMK. The plate I have is anodized aluminum to match the rest of the case. However, you can also grab the FB 75 with the FR4, the Palm, or the PC as well as for the same price. Since the Freebird 75 can be top burger mounted, you have these 4 tabs, the tiny mounting holes right here. They also added in the cuts into the tabs themselves to add more flex in top mount configuration. Alright, so you probably noticed, where's the foam pack? Where's the PE foam sheet? Well, there is none. The idea behind the Freebird 75 is actually to keep it simple, keep it pure. However, KFA does provide 2 sheets of this rubber liner if you wish to use it. However, for me, I actually skipped out on both because the FB 75 didn't need any of it. Sounds fine without, at least in the burger top mount configuration I tried, right? Let's talk about the build now, and I can tell you, the FB 75 has been one of the easiest builds I've done recently. Everything was just so simple and just so straightforward, I didn't have to mess with foams or anything like that, right? Now, since this is a prototype I have, it can only be installed as top burger mount as mentioned before. That is what we're gonna do. So let's get the PCB prepped with some stabilizers. For this build, I am trying out the KFA stabs. These are much cheaper than your OWL stabs or TX stabs or the Stabies, but I would actually definitely pay a little bit more and grab the other stabilizers instead. With stabs, in my opinion, you get what you pay for. Just lay the plate on the top now like this, and you have to just pop in some switches today, which we're going to be using some KFA Pink Robins. Speaking of Pink Robin switches, they are the sponsor of today's video. I know there are so many different types of switches and brands out there, and I'm about to throw another one your way. The Pink Robin linear switches are designed by KFA and made by a manufacturer called Aphelion, not the duck. While they are fairly new to the scene, they definitely know how to make a pretty good switch. The Pink Robins feature a PC top housing, nylon bottom housings with long palm stem. It also uses a 20mm long 63.5 gram spring for that snappy return feel as well. But there is something unique about them, their lubing process. If you choose to go with the lubed version, these KFA Pink Robins come factory hand lubed. Yes, you heard that right. You don't have to open these up individually and lube them for hours. How awesome is that? Overall, the Pink Robins are nice and smooth with a medium sound profile, similar to some of the new Texi long stem linears you see on the market right now. They also have an overall 5.4mm maximum stem deflection, so the stem wobble is pretty good, and they feature smoothness, I think in my opinion, equal to about the newest Gateron Pro switches. I'll link the Pink Robins in the description below, and make sure to use the code Keyboard for 5% off your entire purchase. Once you pop all the Pink Robins onto the plate and PCB, we'll now move on to the actual top mounting. So remember what I said about the burger mounting process? This is the process where you're using two little O-rings to create a suspension when you actually mount the plate to the top case. Creates for a much softer feel and also creates a nice poppier sound signature as well. With that, you just connect the JST cable now from the daughter board and put the whole case together to complete the assembly. So I built this thing out of just completely bare. No foam, no nothing inside. But that's okay, because the keyboard actually doesn't need any of it. I know, right? It's weird that I didn't stuff it with anything. For keycaps, I decided to go with the new PBTFans 2048 clear switches. These switches are very unique in that they're actually gloss polycarbonate with a smoke finish. At first, I didn't think I really liked these, but then I installed it onto this board and wow, actually it looks pretty nice. And the fact that you can see through it and see the pink switches inside, it's pretty cool. This is a top mount, so flexibility isn't something we'd really expect. However, given that it's burger mounted, you do see some present, which is actually nice. With the Gummy O-ring mount, this will be much more bouncy, I guarantee it. Now, with all that done, let me share my final thoughts before the typing test. I know that I wasn't able to test out the Gummy O-ring mount, which in my opinion is the highlight of this board, but just even the top burger mount configuration showed off a very promising board. You can hear it for yourself shortly, but the sound is very clean, very poppy, and also prominent. Although the top mount can't really rival the bounce of the Gummy O-ring mounts, it still feels very comfortable while feeling very lively as well, thanks to the burger mount style of this top mounting. From my experience with the Freebird TKL, the Gummy O-ring mount definitely improves the feel and also keeps the lively sound, so I expect a similar result with the FB 75 as well. Perhaps I could revisit this again in the future maybe. With that, I think KFA dropped another banger board for a very competitive price of $169. It's a good time to be a keyboard enthusiast honestly, with so many great options out there. If you're interested, the FB 75 launches on October 24th as a group buy for about a month or so. So now I'm gonna leave you with the full typing test. So let me know in the description below what you think about that sound. Thanks.